today I want to speak about our amazing sponsor, V&J Auto Body. That's right, V&J Auto Body has now opted to be our primary sponsor here on the podcast, and we couldn't be happier. So V&J Auto Body is a shop that's been around for 40 years. It's a family-owned shop. It still is, okay? Yours truly works there. I have worked there for 9 years. I'm a manager and a writer. We have a fantastic, dynamic crew, right? Professional in all ways. Myself and my partner have between us probably about 40 years combined experience in the insurance industry in various roles. The shop itself is a very progressive shop. And what I mean by that is a future forward-looking shop. We have attained most major manufacturer certifications. All right, most recently, we just became Range Rover certified and Rivian. All right, we continue to move forward in that realm as well. All right, so from a standpoint of being prepared to assist you, the public, in every possible way when it comes to having your collision damaged vehicle repaired and restored to pre-loss condition, V&J Auto Body is the one place you need to be. All right. The shop itself, we have some of the most highly trained technicians. We have the most advanced equipment, right? And we're continually upgrading that and continuing the training, right, for all people. And they really make the investment, folks. I mean, we're sending guys across the country. The owners themselves, James Verone and Chandler, are always attending various industry seminars and various talking heads and folks that are intimately involved in the industry, right? So that we stay ahead of the curve and we know what's happening before it happens. All right, we know what's coming, so we're prepared. All right, we are prepared both intellectually, technically, all right, and also business-wise. All right, and the one thing you can always count on with V&J Auto Body is we're going to represent your interests and not the interests of the insurance company. All right, and we're going to be with you all the way from start to finish. All right, our professional office staff, all right, they're of claim rep quality. All right, and the girls do a phenomenal job. They really know the insurance industry inside out, all right, and they can make sure that your claim gets reported, recorded, and handled the right way from the beginning. All right, so you don't have to worry about that part of the aggravation. All right, V&J is going to take care of all that for you. All right, V&J Auto Body, they are in Lindenhurst and can be reached at 631-226-0070. That's 631-226-0070. Of course, they are on our network at collisionservicenetwork.com. All right, but V&J Auto Body, folks, if you're in the Babylon area, if you live in the town of Babylon, you're in that area, you certainly should be having your car repaired there. So remember, all right, if you get into an accident or you need to file an insurance claim, give the folks over at V&J Auto Body a call, 631-226-0070. They have you back. All right, well, hello, everybody. This is the one and only Big Pete here. All right, Pete Crouch. Hey, everybody, welcome to another amazing episode of Crash Course, the one and only Crash Course podcast, all right, formerly Crash Course Radio. All right, if you followed me over there on the 103.9, all right, on the radio station. We were there for over 2 years. Amazing, right? We had a great time over there, a lot of fun. It was a live show, especially when we used to do the call-ins and have the question of the day, and we used to give away, all kinds of gift cards, Dunkin' Donuts, 7-Eleven. I used to send out, all kinds of, paraphernalia and stuff, shirts and everything, all right? So we had a good time there, and I'm having a great time here. I still really enjoy this, getting behind this mic, talking to the folks. A little different. I don't actually get to talk to the folks. I know I'm talking to you, but not actually, with you. All right, so it's a little different. But hey, anyway, welcome. We're going to get to some pretty good stuff. I got a lot of shit to unpack here. Excuse the explicative, but I just do. A lot going on, right? I don't have to tell you. All right, today is July 16th, and we all know what just happened just a day or two ago. All right, this week. All right, I don't think most of us are going to forget that. When something like that happens, of course, when I'm talking about the shooting involving Trump. So that we're gonna have something to say on that. This is a show, of course. And by the way, if you're just joining the podcast, if you're stopping by, right, you're futzing around on Spotify, and you just you bounced up against me, and you're like, oh, who the hell is this guy? What the hell is he doing? All right, I get it. All right, just hang on. Check me out a little longer. You're going to have fun. You're going to learn something. All right, most of my shows, you always walk away scratching your head going, wow, I didn't think about that. All right, so we always hope that the folks take something away from the show, and we hope that it helps you, helps your family, it helps your friends and everything like that. All right, so if you're new to the show, fantastic, welcome. We really love to have you stay here and like I said, and just check us out. If you've been following the show, if you're a follow-over from the radio, thank you very much. I appreciate all the support. All right, appreciate you following us. Keep spreading the word. All right, our ratings keep going up. All right, subscriptions on the YouTube channel keep going up. Appreciate it. If you're a YouTuber like me, I love YouTube. I'm a musician, so I really use the hell out of that. I'm a drummer. Bop, 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 bop. All right, I'm in a band. So YouTube to me is like, it was almost like, getting hooked on crack. I mean, when YouTube came along, I can't believe it's so cool to be able to pull up old music videos or, old songs. My band concentrates on the late 60s, early 70s. So it's so cool and so dynamic to be able to, pull up that stuff and be able to go back and look at that and analyze that, especially like the, musical notation and everything like that. It just really helps. And I just love it. All right. So we have a YouTube channel. Okay. And you can find us over there. All right. It's pretty cool. We do some different stuff there. All right. We post some of the videos that we like to do. In fact, we just did a really cool video down at V&J. All right. You might find that fun to watch. All right. And there's some other stuff that goes on over there. All right. So check us out at YouTube if you're a YouTube type of guy or girl. All right. And, of course, we're on Facebook. All right, go to Facebook. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. All right, you can find snippets of the show on Instagram. We do boost it over there once in a while, so we do a little boosty over there. All right, like the old boosty boy. And you can catch, I guess you can catch the podcast over there when we boost it. All right, so that's cool. Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook. We used to be on Anchor, but we're not on there anymore. All right. So those are some of the other venues you can find us. You can find, additional information and videos and things like that, and also podcasts. Most importantly, all right, Collision Service Network, collisionservicesnetwork.com. All right, collisionservicenetwork.com. All right, I'm the founder and the president of that company. All right, the mission, of course, if you've been with us, you know what the mission is, right? It's to support and promote the independently owned auto body industry here on Long Island. All right, but more importantly, all right, it's getting to the folks. All right, it's educating the folks about their rights, expectations. All right, when it comes to your auto policy, your personal auto policy. All right, dealing with the insurance guys, dealing with the body shops, educating the folks on both of those. All right, and and helping people to make good decisions when they need that kind of service. All right, whether it's talking to an insurance company or having to find a reliable, supportive body shop. You go to collisionservicenetwork.com, check out our network there of some of the most amazing auto body shops across Long Island. All right, these folks are there for you, not the insurance guys. They're going to represent your interests, not the interests of the insurance company. And I've spoken at length about that and how and why that is so important. All right. There's a bunch of other information there as well. There's a lot of question and answers, how to speak to your insurance company and other stuff like information. There's links there, links to the Department of Financial Services if you need to file a complaint, all right, against an insurance company or a body shop. Okay, if you feel you've been ripped off or your body shop did subpar repairs, there is a remedy for that. All right, you can activate a complaint through the DMV as well as through Department of Financial Services. And we have the links for that at the webpage as well. All right. There's also a link to be able to find out values. All right. If you're interested in finding out what the value of your car is, or maybe the value of a car you're interested in buying. All right. You can. There's a direct link there as well. All right. So really cool stuff. Again, welcome everybody to another cool episode of the one and only Crash Course. And like I said, I got a lot of shit to unpack here. Just taking a sip of my amazing tea. That tea is like the Fountain of Youth, folks. I'm gonna do a little advertising right now. We don't even get paid, but I'm gonna advertise. Just green tea. All right. You like that stuff? All right. If you're a health nut, all right. I'm not a health nut, but I'm trying to find the Fountain of Youth at 61. This stuff is amazing. It's just green tea. It's organic, no sugar. I'm telling you, folks, I swear by it. Kills everything. Great for your skin. Great for your health. All right, there's a little health promo. I'm telling you, we do everything here at Crash Course. That's why I say the people that follow this show, that listen to this podcast, smartest folks in the room all the time. All right, so like I said, a lot of crap to unpack here. Folks, first and foremost, you know what we're about, right? We are a show about cars, car insurance, auto body industry, the insurance industry, all right, informing the folks, right, being able to make good decisions, giving you the information you need, right? You know the mantra over here. I've been saying it for years now, right? What are we doing? We're giving you information and knowledge you need and can use and advice you can trust, right? That's never so true than today, right? Everybody knows there's a ton of information, the information highway, and, it ends up becoming the information byway, You get on that thing and you never know where you're going to get off. But seriously, though, right? So that's what we do here. But we're also, podcast gives us the flexibility to kind of, squeeze out a little more, all right? And that's what I do here. I squeeze out a little more, all right? And what am I saying about that? Well, I've talked about other subjects, right? We went down the road, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. I got on a little bit of a roll with some stuff that was going on. We talked about the EVs, the electric vehicles. I know you guys enjoyed that. I'm told that got a lot of play, all right? We'll come back to that in the future as well. All right, but we'll get to the usual topics. But like I said, I got a lot of shit to unpack here. I just want to say this is July 16th. Okay, this is Wednesday. We all know what just happened a few days ago, right? It was pretty wild stuff. I don't know how many people, have witnessed or been involved in any kind of a thing like that. I myself go back to Ronald Reagan, 1980. When he was elected, and then I believe 4 years later, I don't really recall, but I believe it was in his second term or the beginning of his second term where they took a shot at him. That was pretty freaky and very upsetting. All right, not to mention he was a sitting president. Before that, you got to go back to Kennedy. Well, actually, Ford was shot too. They shot him. Only except that was a wackadoodle. I don't know what the hell her name was. She was some wackadoodle. Yuppie hippie chick or something, and I don't know. He was walking down Pennsylvania Avenue, and she popped out and let him have it. But of course, the big one is JFK, right? We all remember JFK. I mean, you should remember. Okay. I hope everybody. I hope people remember in this country about the JFK assassination. Who knows? I don't know. I don't really. I guess I could be talking through my head here because I don't know what the hell is taught anymore in these schools. But, I digress because I'm going to bring this right back around to make a broader point with what just happened, with Donald Trump. And you know what? And I don't really give a shit what your politics are. And this is what I'm trying to say here before we get into the meat and potatoes of this show. All right, you got a guy that gets shot at. Okay, think about this, folks. And I don't care if you're a liberal, a Republican, a libertarian, a degenerate, a vegan, whatever the hell you're doing, all right? You got two heads, one head, you're purple, you're yellow. I don't really give a shit. All I know is if you're living in this country and you consider yourself an American, now I know that might be scary in itself, but if you consider yourself an American, all right, and you're living in this country, everybody ought to be real pissed and real concerned and upset about what just went down, all right? Let's think about that, folks. Okay? Let's let that settle in. All right? Forget the media. Forget all the bullshit, all the talking heads and all this other crap because they all have an agenda. I'm talking about you and I, you and me, all right, and the folks. All right? The regular Joe Blows. And that's not a pejorative, okay? Because I know somebody out there is going to be like, oh, that's a pejorative again. Oh, the regular guy, the working guy. No, I mean the regular folks, right? Folks like you and me. We get up every day. We go to work, right? We have a job. We have family. We have responsibilities, all right? We have hobbies. We have things we love to do, places we like to go. And we do this every day, and we have a life, all right? So the folks, okay? Not the regular Joe Blows, but the folks, the people that hold everything together in this country, right? And that's most of us, right? That's most of us. And that's good. All right, that's good because that's what creates the fabric and the cement that holds everything together. Us, the folks. All right. So what I'm saying, the folks, you and me, we ought to be real pissed off, right? We ought to be real pissed off here, okay? Like I said, set aside all the rhetoric and all the background noise and all the horse shit and everything else that you hear, and just focus on exactly what went down, right? You have a real rally out in the field in the middle of Podunk, Pennsylvania, all right, with American folks, you and me. I just said the folks, right? The regular folks, you and me, right? Just sitting there in the sun, having a great old time, and here comes an individual that's looking to get elected to high office, all right, the highest office in the nation, and some jackass decides he's going to take a shot at him and nearly killed him. Right? I'm no ballistics expert, but I am pretty good with guns, all right, and stuff like that. I do have a little bit of a military background, and I can tell you, folks, that shot could have been made by Stevie Wonder, all right? That's how close that was, all right? So whatever you want to believe happened, you could say it was God, you could say it was a miracle, a stroke of luck, good timing, coincidence, whatever you want to say on that. All I know is that guy, all right, Donald Trump, he's got a lot of deep thinking in the next few weeks. All right? He's got a lot of interpersonal thinking he's going to be doing because he should be dead. All right, should be dead. Okay? All the conventional wisdom would suggest that guy should have never survived that. But he did. Right? He did. And everybody should be tremendously thankful. And again, I'm not talking, listen, I don't want to hear any of the horse shit. I don't want to hear anybody out there screaming at the podcast, F this guy's a jackass. I'm talking about the folks, right? And this is what we do on Crash Course, right? What do we do at Crash Course, right? We talk to the folks, you and me, right? We help people. We educate people. So all that crap, all that bullshit should be off the table, folks, okay? Because at the end of the day, we had some lunatic, for whatever reason, who the hell knows? I'm sure we'll find, or maybe we might never find that. Who knows? Some deranged idiot that had nothing else to do with his life, I guess, or nothing else to do, didn't feel that he was important enough to anybody that he had to, do something like this. Take a shot at another American. Okay? Think about that. Like I said, forget it. Forget all the bullshit, the political crap, the rhetoric, all the background noise and everything else. Just focus on the fact that here in America, Americans, we're all involved in the same process, right? Same process. I'm not talking about what side you're on. I don't care about that. I'm talking about boiling it all down, all right? Like I said earlier, right? Americans, if you live here, you work here, and you were born here, right? And we're Americans. Or maybe you weren't born here, but you got here legally. I'm not talking about the people that are flooding through the border there. I'm talking about people that got here legally. The point that we're making here, Crash Course, is what? We should all be deeply, deeply affected by this, right? For one reason. Okay? This is not something that we need to normalize here. Okay? So everybody should be really, really taking a close look at what happened and really, really taking a, self-examination here. All right? Really need to self-examine. And I'm talking about everybody, like I said. I'm not getting involved with the politics. I'm not getting involved with the theologies or the philosophies, or the movements or the groups, and this group and that group. And I don't care about that. It's all horse shit. When it comes down to it, some lunatic, some deranged jackass was able to take a shot at a former president, all right, who really, right now, is Joe Blow citizen running for office again, all right, and almost blew the guy's head off. Okay? That should really, if you're a human being and you're an American, that should deeply affect all of us, and we should all really, really be looking within ourselves and thinking real deeply about some of the horse shit that's been going on in this country in the last 4 years. All right, that's all I'm saying about that. All right, because that affects everybody, folks. It affects everybody. Don't kid yourself. Don't be running around listening to this jackass or this talking head or this moron over there. That affects all of us. That kind of shit, okay, rears its head all over. all over. Okay? That kind of nonsense shows up everywhere. Right? Not just at this event. It'll eventually show up somewhere else and somewhere else if we tolerate that. Right? If we accept that, or we try and dismiss it, or diminish it, or try and rationalize it, or try and make up some kind of conspiratorial fantasy bullshit. Right? Bottom line is, we have a deranged imbecile that somehow got up on a building and was able to take a shot, which, like I said earlier, it's point blank range. All right, Stevie Wonder probably could have made that shot. Right? This should not be happening in the 21st century in America. Something is deeply, deeply wrong here. All right? And all of us, the folks, and what I said earlier, the folks, you, me, we all should be demanding real answers here. Get to the damn bottom of this shit. Okay? This is pathetic. This is 2024, and we got some jerk-off climbing onto a roof with a rifle that his father bought. I mean, this is just absolute horseshit. All right? And like I said, talking about the folks, you and me, forget all the other crap. Clear the table, clear the room, clear the air. We're talking about just the folks, you and me, and really think about what just transpired. And ask yourself, all right? Ask yourself, is all that bullshit really worth it? Is all that crap that goes on, the name calling and the political rhetoric and the different the different titles and aspirations and all this other nonsense that gets, and the labels that get handed out there by the media and everything else? All right, is this really what we want? Is this where we want to end up? I don't really think so. All right, I'm talking to everybody, the folks. I'm not talking to politicians. All right, I'm not talking about some, high-level, corporatists or anything like that. I'm talking about you and me, right? Because at the end of the day, folks, this doesn't go away. It doesn't get any better. It gets worse, right? It gets worse, all right? It secretes itself into the fabric of our society, and it starts to become more commonplace. And, folks, once that happens, once you go down that road, it's very difficult to put the genie back in the bottle. All right? Just saying. Something to think about. All right? All right. So, like I said, I had a lot of shit to unload. That's some of it right there. Now, let's get to this. So, like I said, we're about giving you information and knowledge you need and can use. All right? Advice you can trust. Speaking about advice you can trust, don't forget, if you got to speak to your insurance company, what do we say here at Crash Course and CollisionServiceNetwork.com? You should be calling us before you speak to them. All right? That's very important, folks. No joke. All right? You really should. All right? And we've helped quite a few folks through the years with various different things. All right? Various different subject matter involving body shops, involving the insurance company, liability, total losses, getting a fair shake on the outcome of an investigation on a claim. Of course, finding a reliable body shop, even personal injury lawyers. Okay, we were able to help some folks find a good personal injury lawyer. All right, so remember, look us up. We can be reached by phone, by email. You can go to the website, CollisionServiceNetwork.com, and you can find more information there on how to get a hold of us so we can help you. All right, so I don't know if anybody's aware of this, all right, but we got USAA and Progressive apparently are involved in a class action suit for the suit alleges. Okay, again, I'm not making a statement against these companies. I'm simply repeating what was in the news. So apparently USA and Progressive have had a class action suit levied against them for, among other things, deliberately. Now, again, this is what the lawsuit states, all right? I'm not saying they're doing this. I don't have any proof of that. Not directly, but indirectly, I might have to agree with the provisions of the lawsuit. But it says that for deliberately undervaluing cars on a total loss claim. So what does that mean? Well, if you get into an accident, all right, and the insurance company determines that they're not going to fix your car, right? That's what they can do. They can just say, we're not going to fix it. Now, of course, they have to be within the parameters set by New York State, right? I've said this before, 75% of the base value in New York State, and your car is determined to be a total loss. Now, there's exceptions to that, right? And there's different ways to work that at the perimeter and at the edges. But for the most part, that's the guideline, right? Those are the guideposts, right? So if you have a car that's worth $10,000 and you write $7,500, according to New York State, that car is now a total loss, right? 75% of the value. So at that point, the insurance company is going to say to you, hey, Mr. Jones, guess what, man? We're not fixing your car. It's too much damage. We don't want to get involved, or there's too many open items, or that we feel that there's a safety issue there, whatever it is, all right? The car's blown in half. We don't really want to weld the car back together, all right? So they're going to total it, right? And you stand there scratching your head and like, oh, okay, what does that mean? Of course, you listen to this podcast, and you're not going to be that guy scratching your head, right? That's right. You're going to smile and smirk and be like, yeah, I know what that means, and I'm ready. Because I listened to that guy Pete on Crash Course, and I got all my ducks in order, and I'm locked and loaded. All right? Not literally, okay? We don't want to upset the apple cart here. Yeah, so this is pretty wild to see. USA and Progressive class action suit for deliberately undervaluing cars. Folks, what do I tell you all the time here? What do I tell you all the time? What do the insurance companies do? That's amazing. Two things. They save money, right? By collecting our premiums and investing them, hopefully, in investable instruments that return something on that. But what do they do most amazingly? They find ways to cut costs when, where, and often. I've been saying this for years now. I said it on the radio. Well, guess what? Apparently, they thought they found a way to keep doing that by screwing you and me. It's quite a thing to see. Like I said, I've been in this industry 30 years. It's quite a phenomenon to see with the insurance companies. They always find ways to screw people and then get screwed themselves. I swear to God, they must have a cadre of lawyers and think tank guys that sit around in a room and scratch their head and come up with the most idiotic, moronic ideas and then calculate how much money and aggravation and shit that's going to cause them when it all goes down. Because they know it's going to go down. They got to know it's going to go down, And then they match that against what they would have screwed everybody over and made, and then they say, okay, let's do it. Right? Unbelievable. So now, again, this is what the suit alleges. I'm not making a statement here against these companies, USA and Progressive, are fucking screwing everybody. No, I'm not saying that. Okay? I'm simply just reiterating what I read, that this is the class action suit. So, I guess what I'm saying, folks, is that if you've been involved in a total loss claim within the last 6 months with USA and Progressive, you might want to, look into this. Okay? Class action suit. I'm just saying. I'll try and get some more information on that, on who's actually filing the suit. Obviously, it's an individual first, and then the lawyers determine that it's so egregious that it's a class action. In other words, it's going to affect a whole class of people, right? That's what a class action suit is. And so they determine that, all right, you know what? We gotta make this an entire class. This isn't just about you. But the claim. The lawsuit originates out of one individual's problem. All right? That's how it works. So the moral of the story is what? Well, the moral story is you want to make sure you keep listening to Crash Course podcast so that you end up being the smartest person in the room and you know how to handle this. And we always say here at Crash Course, if your car's involved in an accident and the insurance company says, hey, we're totaling the car, they're going to do an evaluation, folks, all right? They do it on a computer. It's all computerized, been that way for about 25 years now, maybe 30 years. All right, we used to use a red book and a NADA book, and you'd work up values based on both of those periodicals. Those were updated 4 times a year. You worked them up on a flow sheet, a worksheet, all right? And then you took the average of both of those, and that's what you made the offer based on. That's all gone. All gone. Now it's strictly based on a marketing type of basis, right? So what I mean by that is if you're driving a 2010 Chevy Equinox, let's say, all right, and they decide the total. What they're going to do is they're going to put your vehicle parameters in, right? The VIN, the make, the model, the exact model, Equinox LT, let's say, or is it all-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, what the mileage is, the condition, what kind of options packages you had on there, and all that gets crammed in there, and you push a button, whoop, off it goes into the Twilight Zone, bam, within 1 minute, they get a whole breakdown of what the car's worth, all right? And that value is derived, that value is generated within seconds or minutes because the computer accesses an entire pool of cars. And New York State sets that guideline. It says that you must maintain, all right, a reliable pool of cars that reasonably represents, all right, the geographical area. And that pool of cars has to be accessible to most major, manufacturing brands. So they'll go out there and they'll instantaneously, survey all of the 2010 Chevy Equinoxes LTs with 100,000 miles and all-wheel drive and all these options. Whoop, bam. The value comes back. All right, we surveyed 2,000 of these cars in the area, and this is the average. And what they'll usually do is they'll show you what the asking price was, what the taking price is, and of course, I don't have to tell you, they settle with you based on the taking price. All right, and then what they'll do is they'll back in the sales tax. Then they take out your deductible and they say, here you go, Mrs. Jones, Mr. Jones, this is what we're offering you right here. Basically take it or leave it. Right, but as you know, listening to me here on Little Old Crash Course, I've explained to you in the past. It's not take it or leave it. All right, folks, listen up, all right? Hello, listen up. It's not take it or leave it. The insurance companies will present it that way, like this is it, this is what we're offering you. All right, bullshit. That's what you say. You say, I call it bullshit. Don't actually say that. You probably won't get too far. But you're going to put your Crash Course hat on and say, I listened to Pete on Crash Course, and I think I want to dive deeper into this. All right, and so don't forget, too, you have a right to see the entire evaluation report. Now, it's my understanding that some of the more reasonable companies automatically email that to you now, all right? And that's great. That's good to see. It wasn't like that up until a few years ago, right? It was always a big secret. You had to ask for it. But, they email it to you, and then that's it. Here you go. And you're going to look at that and go, wow, holy shit, this thing's 10, 12, 13 pages. What am I looking at here? They're not going to explain it to you. They're just going to email it to you. All right, we did what we had to do. So you're not going to know what you're looking at. You're not going to know what you should be looking for. All right, and you're certainly not going to be able to make a determination on whether or not the offer you got is fair and reasonable. And, folks, I have to – listen, forget about what I just told you about the lawsuit against USAA and Progressive. As a general rule, you should be very suspicious about these offers. All right, you should. Each insurance company can tweak this system, this valuating system, okay, to be more consistent with what they're looking to do. All right? Which obviously is what? What did I just say? Cut costs one way or often. All right? And they're going to do it on your back. Jesus, holy shit. We got Mr. Jones got the Equinox. The thing's worth $10,000. All right. We're going to offer him $7,000. I'm just saying. Right? Obviously, it's fictitious, but they might offer you $7,000. You go, woo, $7,000. Wow, I don't owe anything on the car. It's paid off. $7,000. That's great. When actually, maybe you really should be getting $85,000. Okay? Now, we have helped numerous people here at Crash Course, right? And we have resources, all right, that we can put you in touch with that are able to advance this even further for you. All right? Obviously, for a small fee, it's usually a very small commission based on whatever the difference is they recover for you. All right, but I worked by myself a number of years ago for a woman, all right, who came into my body shop, V&J. Woo! We love V&J Auto Body. Hurrah for V&J. All right, one of the amazing sponsors of Crash Course here. But anyway, she came in, long story short, it was a State Farm claim, and they made us some horrendous offer. I went to work. I went to bat for her, submitted the DR, the designated representative, submitted the power of attorney, demanded that State Farm now had to deal with me and not her. They were reluctant. They eventually saw my paperwork and knew that they had to give in, and they did. And I immediately went to work, researched everything, and the long story short is that I was able to increase. Now listen up. Hello, listen up. I was able to increase her settlement by $7,400. All right. Now, I don't know where you come from, but where I come from, that's a lot of money, okay? That's a lot of money, folks. And that was due to the diligence and hard work on my part, okay, to be able to recover that additional money for her. Again, Joe Blow, right? The folks, you and me, we don't know any of this. Right? Well, I do, but you don't. You do now because you listen to me because you're going to be the smartest person in the room. Right? But they know, the insurance companies know this, guys. They know that you're probably ignorant about this. Yeah, and listen, I know I'm dating myself here. All right, I know I'm dating myself, okay? I know that this is the new castrati now. You can Google this, Google that, I don't know what the hell is that stupid thing that you talk to Siri or Sirius, whatever the hell it is. Sirius, go get me, find me a beer or store or something. I don't know. But anyway, it's just crazy today, right? Google this, Google that. That's great. And that's great. Here's the problem, though. All right? You still have to interpret that on a personal level for your own predicament. All right? Kabish? So you still need somebody. You still need somebody with a knowledge base, with a professional approach to make sure that you're not getting screwed. All right? And listen, what I just tell you, USAA and Progressive have now exposed themselves to a class action suit for screwing people. That's basically what that's a nice way of saying. Deliberately unvalued. It's a nice way of saying screwing people. Okay? That's what they're doing. And yours truly, by the way, I almost forgot about this. That was a State Farm claim that I helped recover the extra money. Well, guess what I discovered? All right? Excuse me. I discovered that they were purposefully manipulating the taking price, folks. Listen up, all right? Hello, listen up. This is important. I don't know anybody out there that doesn't think getting more money is not important. All right? If you do, congratulations. I guess you must be very well off, and that's great. Good luck. Wish you all the best. Most of us, though, that's not the case. But what I discovered was they were artificially adjusting, like reducing the taking price. I remember how incredulous I was. I was like, holy shit, you got to be kidding me. So you had the asking price, right? Because, you had a dealer, they were asking $15,000 for something. Maybe, we both know the car's not leaving at $15,000, right? I mean, let's just face it. You got the haggling and all this other crap. So maybe the car leaves at $12,000. Well, State Farm thought they were smarter than the guy that actually sold the car. And they said, we don't really think the car should have left at $12,000. We're gonna say it left at $10,000. Okay? Think about that. Let that set in, folks. They were purposely manipulating the data that was being supplied by a reliable and calibrated source. They didn't give a shit. They didn't think that was good enough for them. Because remember what I said. What do I always say? Insurance companies do what? They look for ways to cut costs when we're an orphan. And they love to do it by screwing us, folks. They really do. Okay, so I just discovered that haphazardly as a sidebar. And then I decided to research that. And lo and behold, I found out that at that time, and this was 4 years ago. 4 years ago. And at that time, maybe even longer, maybe 5. At that time, State Farm had already been identified, right, by an individual who then, of course, notified a law firm that they were involved in this egregious act and lawsuits were filed. Okay? Little old me did that. Okay? Little old me did that. Good old Collision Services Network guy. Okay? And believe me, folks, you're not going to be able to do that on your own, obviously, right? I was able to do that because I'm a professional, because I've been in this industry for 30 years. I knew where to look, what to look for, all right, and how to look for it. Okay, so moral of the story is, folks, total losses, a very complicated process to go through. If you don't know anything about it, don't do it on your own. Give us a call. Contact collisionservicenetwork.com. Let us help you. We have the resources, and we have the people that can help determine whether or not you're getting a fair shake. All right? Doesn't seem like it, so I'd be very suspicious about that. All right? Unfortunately, as we can see, I guess other companies just didn't get the lesson. Okay, they didn't get the lesson plan after State Farm, and it's still going on. All right, and other companies do it other companies do it, folks, at the perimeter, at the edges. All right, what do I mean about that? Well, they what do I say? They cut costs one way and often. So they'll utilize the same. They all utilize the same system, just about. All right, there's a couple companies that have a different variation, but for the most part, they're using a database, a computerized database, and generating average values based on that market, that database of cars. But here's what I mean. Okay, whether it's XYZ Insurance or the big guys, they all tweak this, folks. Listen up. They all tweak this to fit their business plan. All right? And that's what I mean, that if it's not egregious like this, there's shit going on at the fringes. Trust me, there is. All right? Whether it's the conditioning of the car or whether it's just that they told the company to tweak it a little bit, it goes on. Okay? So you know what you're going to do, right? Car gets in an accident, all right? Well, you should be going to collisionservicenetwork.com and choosing one of our shops. And if you do, guess what? This isn't going to happen, all right? Not going to happen, because they're going to help you over there and make sure you're not getting screwed. And if they can't, all right, or they they don't think that they can, they reach out to me, and then I can step in and I have the resources to make sure that we determine whether or not you're being offered, whether you're getting a fair offer. Okay? But if you don't do any of that, you end up on your own. I get it. You shouldn't, but I get it. It happens. If you end up on your own, all right, and your car's determined to be a total, maybe it got stuck at a tow yard, all right, that happens, right? You got an accident in the middle of Timbuktu, car's sitting over in some crap hole tow yard somewhere, and they go out and see it. Hey, Mr. Jones, we saw it over there at shithole, .com or whatever the hell it is, tow yard. All right, and we're gonna wash the car out over there, and don't worry about having it towed to a shop. Blah blah blah. Great, terrific. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. All right, but now you're getting screwed. Okay, because the value may not really be good. All right, it may not good. It may not be fair. All right. So in that case, right, you want to make sure you have that you have your ducks in order and you know what's going on. All right. So in all serious aside, though. All right, that can happen, right? Your car might have been towed to some guy's yard in the middle of nowhere, and the insurance company will go out there and look at it there, right? Because they don't want to spend the money to have it moved anywhere else, and they say, "Oh, we saw it over at shithole towing yard, and it's a total, so we're going to just wrap everything up right here, and here's the offer." All right. So remember, though, what I'm trying to say is, if that happens, right, and you're on your own, don't settle, right? What did I say at the beginning of this episode? All right. Contrary to what the insurance company is going to do, they're going to present it like a terminal event. Here you go. Here's our offer. Well, tough shit. I want to look at it. I want to evaluate the offer. I want to look at the report. All right. And folks, you know what they say, man. Instincts kick in, right? If you really don't think that it looks good or it sounds good, it probably isn't. All right. It might be, but it probably isn't. All right. And you should be reaching out to us. All right, it's a very complex process, a total loss, and you really shouldn't be going about it on your own. Insurance company wants you to go about it on your own. All right, but you listen to Crash Course, and you're not going to do that. All right, tell your family and friends the same thing. Make sure that you're reaching out to us so that we can help you. That's what we do here at Crash Course. We help the folks. And folks, speaking about helping, all right, I'm going to help myself to end this episode. How's that? Okay. I think we covered a lot of stuff here. I know I unpacked some off the reservation shit in the beginning. Hopefully, people appreciated it, and they're thinking about things a little more deeply, like I did. All right, and hopefully we can get everybody back on the right track with that in this country. All right, I'm not looking for a miracle. I don't think any of us are, but let's try and normalize the political process again. All right, let's try and get back to shore a little bit on our political process, all right? It's getting a little really, really, really out of control, folks. And that's only the tip of the iceberg. Remember what I said, all right? If we don't start looking within, finding ways to, to deal with each other, politically speaking, on a much more complimentary tone, all right? That type of thing is like a cancer. It doesn't get any better, okay? It continues to get worse, all right? So a little self-reflection there. You and me, the folks, right? We can do it. All right, so hopefully everybody enjoyed this episode. I hope you got a lot out of that total loss thing, all right, and the class action suits that originate out there because of the good old insurance companies. And please remember, collisionservicenetwork.com. We're looking out for the folks. We're also supporting the privately owned and operated auto body industry. All right, folks, please, really, you need a body shop, go there. Go to collisionservicenetwork.com. Choose one of our amazing shop partners. All right, they're going to work for you, not the insurance guys. Big difference. There's a lot of, especially here on Long Island, there are a lot, and I mean a lot. Even guys that I knew years ago are now climbing on board with the old direct repair program or insurance-sponsored shop. Folks, I'm telling you, it's bullshit. It doesn't work. All right, don't let them give you a smoke screen, the body shop. Oh, yeah, we can fix your car. Yeah, we work with them. I love this one here. Hey, I'll leave you with this. I love this one. You'll see it on the body shop. We work with all major insurance companies, or every insurance company, appreciates us. Of course they do. Of course they do. Because you're bending over and you're telling them, hey, give it to me, man, and I'll do whatever you need done. It doesn't work for you, folks. It works for the insurance companies. Remember, I always say they look for ways to cut costs when we're an orphan. Well, guess what? The direct repair program fits that perfectly. All right, stay away from that. Instead, contact collisionservicenetwork.com. Let us help you find an amazing shop. Folks, I'll get you. I'll be back next week. All right, another exciting episode. Take care.